Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but you know, like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. You know.
No, it's business. It's the office. I enjoy it because this is what I love to do.
Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter.
I understand, you know, Canelo is bigger than me and whatnot, but I'm up for the challenge.
Canelo Alvarez has responded to the latest training footage of Terence Crawford, who's ramping up his regimen in preparation for a possible fight against Canelo. Crawford's workouts combine strength and conditioning exercises, including weightlifting and resistance training, to build both power and endurance. On top of that, Crawford is honing his punching techniques through mitt work and heavy bag sessions, improving his speed and precision. Sheikh Turki Al-Sheikh, a passionate boxing fan, has promised to bring several world-class fights by 2025. Among the most anticipated is the long-awaited showdown between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, potentially set for September. According to Boxing News Online, the two fighters privately met in London last week, away from Al-Sheikh's radar, and reportedly began discussing the terms of their highly anticipated bout. ESPN has reported that the fight is being planned for the weekend of Mexico's Independence Day in mid-September, with Las Vegas as the location and a 168-pound weight limit. There will be no rehydration clause. However, one major challenge remains. Crawford would need to gain 14 pounds to meet the weight category of the Mexican fighter. Canelo has gradually moved up in weight classes over the years, starting at super welterweight, where he won the WBC world title. He later became the unified middleweight champion at 160 pounds, briefly moved up to light heavyweight to defeat Sergey Kovalev and win the IBF title, and eventually dropped to super middleweight, where he became the first undisputed four-belt champion. Canelo's fights rarely go to decision, something that's been uncommon since 2016. To face Canelo, Crawford would need to jump 2 weight classes. Canelo has expressed concerns about facing Crawford, highlighting the importance of weight classes in boxing. He mentioned that there are weight classes for a reason and suggested that Crawford's optimal performance is at 147 pounds. This view aligns with Crawford's recent move to 154 pounds, where he secured a world title by defeating Israel Madar. Despite Crawford's success, Canelo believes that moving up to 168 pounds to challenge him could put Crawford at a disadvantage due to the size and power differences. Canelo's stance reflects the traditional boxing principle that weight divisions exist to ensure fair and competitive matchups while maintaining the integrity of the sport and the safety of athletes.
Obviously, you can't look forward past Saturday, but do you feel like a fight like Terence Crawford? I see he wants to fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
You know, everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better, no? Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but you know, like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. You know, I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and then you never know what happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Canelo Alvarez has criticized Terence Crawford's record, calling it padded. Canelo argues that Crawford, despite his 17-year career, hasn't faced elite-level competition. He points to Crawford's best win against an out-of-shape, weight-drained version of Errol Spence, a fighter who wasn't at his prime due to a car crash injury. According to Canelo, aside from that win, no one on Crawford's resume truly stands out as deserving of the praise he's received. Canelo explains that Crawford is a product of a system where clever matchmaking creates the illusion of dominance, allowing fighters to look unbeatable against lesser competition. While acknowledging Crawford's talent, Canelo emphasizes that he's only really defeated one notable fighter in his career. Crawford's record, according to Canelo, lacks the kind of high-level opponents that would validate his reputation. Despite being a favorite in every fight he's been in, Crawford hasn't taken on fighters where the matchups were truly 50-50. In Canelo's view, this weakens Crawford's legacy as a top-tier fighter.
Are you tired of people asking you about Terence yet?
No, look, like I always say, I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with Spence. He did like almost look very easy. But I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you never know in boxing. We'll see.
Canelo Alvarez recently commented on Terence Crawford's career, calling his record into question, which led Crawford to fire back on X, formerly Twitter. Crawford responded with a confident, "LOL, that's crazy," challenging Canelo's view and asserting that he's always been able to make his opponents look mediocre. He criticized the notion that his entire career is padded with weak competition. Critics of Crawford argue that his career has been carefully managed, with him facing B-level opponents to protect his undefeated record. They point out that Crawford has avoided high-level fighters like Jaron Ennis, Bakram Murtazaliev, and Virgil Ortiz Jr. Additionally, some believe Crawford should move up to 168 lbs to face tough challengers like David Benavidez or David Morrell, to prove he's ready for a fight with Canelo. Despite these arguments, Crawford remains confident in his achievements, dismissing claims that his resume lacks substance. Canelo, on the other hand, has acknowledged that many fighters want to face him, saying, "Everyone wants to fight with me, so it's fine if a fight makes sense, then why not?" While Canelo was once hesitant to face Crawford due to concerns about fighting a smaller opponent, his stance has shifted. Recently, Canelo met with Turkish boxing promoter Alik in London to discuss a potential fight with Crawford. If the bout happens, Crawford would have to move up to super middleweight, a significant challenge according to some experts. Notably, two-weight world champion Teofimo Lopez, who has trained with Canelo under coach Eddie Reynoso, believes the weight increase might be too much for Crawford. Despite these concerns, the possibility of the fight has sparked major excitement among boxing fans and analysts, and it looks like the matchup could soon become a reality.
It's disrespectful for Crawford to call you out at 68, say that he can beat you at this weight?
No, everybody wants to fight with me, so it's fine.
That being a biggest fight possible in boxing, is that something you'd actually be interested in?
It's crazy when you asking about that, because you say, your matchup is coming out with other weight classes and and he's welterweight, so don't make sense. But if the fight makes sense, why not?
A lot of people have him at #1 pound for pound. You think that's fair to you?
It's a few people there who deserve the #1 pound per pound, and it's fine.
Canelo Alvarez has expressed confidence in a potential fight with Terence Crawford, calling it easy money if the terms are right. However, he also mentioned that he doesn't particularly enjoy fighting opponents like Crawford, whose style is centered around significant movement, making for a less exciting matchup in Canelo's eyes. Despite this, discussions surrounding the potential bout have progressed, with reports indicating that both fighters have tentatively agreed to face off in Las Vegas in September 2025. This potential matchup between the two champions has generated significant interest in the boxing community. Canelo recently acknowledged the possibility of facing Crawford following his victory over Edgar Berlanga, stating, "Anything is possible." He emphasized that any fight of such magnitude needs to be arranged under favorable terms for both sides. In a subsequent development, reports revealed that Canelo and Crawford have been in promising discussions with Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Sheikh to arrange a major fight in 2025. Both fighters have reportedly agreed to a September showdown in Las Vegas, signaling that a mega fight might be on the horizon. While these developments point toward a potential bout, Canelo remains focused on his current commitments, expressing a willingness to consider the fight after fulfilling his existing obligations.
Always is a chance there, right? We'll see, but always is a chance there, and we're here to make the best deals, and always a chance.
And I do have to ask you about Dimitri Bivol, because that's a rematch you've always talked about wanting. How do you see the rematch going with Bivol and Beterbiev?
I think it's gonna be another good fight. Both fighters are good fighters, so I think both have a chance to win. Like the first one was a really good fight.
So whatever is next, we look forward to it, my friend. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Canelo Alvarez is expected to play a major role in the upcoming Riyadh series, which is poised to feature some of the top-tier boxing talent in the world. Following recent discussions about a potential mega fight with Terence Crawford, the event, hosted in Saudi Arabia, has garnered significant attention. Both fighters have reportedly agreed to terms for a bout in September 2025, which would serve as a major highlight of the Riyadh series. Sheikh Turki Al-Sheikh, a key figure behind the event, has been eager to bring major boxing bouts to Saudi Arabia, offering over $200 million to secure Canelo's participation in the Riyadh event. In an interview at the opening of El Pastor del R in San Diego, Canelo expressed his openness to such business opportunities, stating, "I never say no to business," and confirmed he is open to negotiations if the deal is right. Canelo further revealed that he retains a significant portion of the profits from his fights, including ticket sales, with 80% of the earnings going directly to him. He emphasized that while he takes on significant risks by accepting these high-profile fights, the financial rewards are substantial, making it a worthwhile venture for him.
Saul, my carnal, how are you? Quick question. I know, as we walk, Canelo, how important is it that you've spoke with Turki Al-Sheikh?
Say again, please.
How important for you is it that you've spoke to Turki Al-Sheikh, and what did you speak about?
Look, I like to work with everybody. You know, I'm a free agent, and I like to work with everybody. And you know, I like to have the doors open.
Are we going to see Canelo Crawford next?
We'll see. It's a possibility there always. No, we'll see what happens.
Have you spoke with Turki about that show?
Yeah,
about Canelo?
We know each other. We don't talk that much for make a deal and anything, but you know, we now know each other, and we'll see what happens.
Last one, I know you're pushed for time. Benavidez Morel, who wins?
It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good fight. 50-50 fight.
Canelo, thank you for that.
In a recent interview, Mikey Garcia shared his thoughts on a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Garcia praised Crawford as one of the most skilled fighters he's ever seen, recounting a conversation where he acknowledged Crawford's incredible achievements. He noted that Crawford's lack of recognition often comes from politics and favoritism in boxing. Despite Crawford's technical brilliance, Garcia pointed out the significant size difference between the two fighters as a critical factor. Canelo competes at 168 lbs, while Crawford recently moved up to 154 lbs, where he faced challenges. Garcia expressed doubt that Canelo would drop below 166 lbs, and he believes that the size and power advantage would ultimately favor Canelo, despite Crawford being the more technically skilled fighter. Garcia also mentioned that he's not in favor of the matchup, as Crawford has already achieved greatness across multiple weight divisions. Dan Rafael, a seasoned boxing analyst, also shared his insights on the potential fight. He highlighted that Canelo is very astute when it comes to business and would be motivated by the substantial financial rewards a bout with Crawford could offer. Rafael suggested that the matchup could be one of the most significant in boxing history, drawing immense attention and generating substantial revenue. He emphasized that both fighters are at the peak of their careers, making this potential showdown highly anticipated in the boxing world.
In May, I've read somewhere that Canelo has shortlisted Crawford for the May fight, his fight in May. Dan, what's happening?
Yeah, listen, I think it's just a fluid situation. I don't think there's anything definitive one way or the other at this point. I mean, it's not a secret that that's a fight that's been discussed by a lot of us and by a lot of people in the sport for quite a while. Certainly, it's a fight that Turki Al-Sheikh from Saudi Arabia has shown a lot of interest in. And of course, if it's going to get made, someone's going to have to put up a lot of guaranteed money. And he's probably the person that's going to do it. He's obviously been working closely with Terence Crawford. He was involved with Terence Crawford's last fight that took place in August when he fought Israel Madrimov. It's obviously a fight that Terence Crawford has been very vocal about wanting. Now, Canelo hasn't ever said he wanted the fight, kind of downplayed it to a certain degree. But it wasn't that long ago. I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, he was doing an appearance and he was asked about it and he didn't close the door on it. In the past, he sort of like closed the door on it and was like, I'm not interested. He's like, listen, I'll talk to anybody and listen to what they have to say about the deal, any kind of deal. So in my mind, that sort of at least cracked open the door to have the conversation. Like he wasn't just saying, forget it in terms of working with Turki or anybody else. So I think that Canelo is a smart person in terms of his boxing, but also in terms of his business. And when he looks around at the landscape and he wants to make a huge amount of money, like all top fighters or any fighter for that matter, and he looks and sees who can I fight where I can make the biggest score, in a big time fight.
Expressed strong confidence in a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, predicting that Canelo, known for his size and strength, would have the upper hand in this matchup. Garcia's assertion aligns with recent reports indicating that negotiations for the fight are nearing completion, with a target date set for September 2025 in Las Vegas. The bout is expected to take place at 168 lbs, with Crawford moving up 2 weight classes to challenge Canelo for his unified super middleweight titles. This fight is anticipated to be a major commercial event, drawing significant attention from boxing fans worldwide. Terence Crawford has also expressed his enthusiasm for the potential fight with Canelo, describing it as the biggest fight in boxing. Crawford has long desired this matchup, recognizing its massive appeal to fans around the globe. While he acknowledges that Canelo's size advantage is significant, stating, "Canelo is bigger than me," Crawford remains confident in his abilities and is eager to face the challenge. The fight is reportedly close to being finalized, with the September 2025 date in Las Vegas anticipated to become one of the most highly anticipated events in the boxing world.
Guys, we know the fighters know the intel before the news gets released to the public. King Ryan was asked about Canelo Crawford. He not only says he can't believe they got that fight done, meaning that that's a done deal. We obviously knew that, but he also gives you who he thinks wins that fight, Canelo or Crawford. Do you agree with Ryan Garcia?
Right.
What about Canelo and Crawford? What do you think?
That's going to be a great fight, too. I can't believe they made that happen. Turkey's been making a lot of great fights happen. You can't really hate on it. But I'm excited for that. I know Canelo is so big, so strong, and I think he'll be just too big. I mean, weight classes matter for a reason.
Last question, Ali.
Heath recently shared his thoughts on a potential matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, emphasizing the intrigue surrounding the fight. Initially, Smith leaned toward Crawford, highlighting his exceptional skills as a pure boxer and his ability to outclass opponents in the ring. However, Smith raised concerns about Crawford's ability to hurt Canelo, who is a physically imposing fighter with immense power. He noted that Canelo's relentless pressure and powerful shots can overwhelm boxers who lack the capacity to keep him at bay. While acknowledging Crawford's technical superiority, Smith expressed doubts about whether Crawford could withstand or evade Canelo's power throughout the fight. Ultimately, he found the matchup compelling, with Crawford's skill and strategy potentially being tested like never before against a force as dominant as Canelo.
Speaking of Canelo, it looks very possible he'll fight Crawford in May. What would you think of that matchup, Canelo and Crawford?
You know what? I think my initial reaction would be to say that I think that Crawford would be the superior boxer, as great as Canelo is, as seasoned as he is, with 65 fights, if I recall, on his record. He's phenomenal. But Crawford is something special. I think that he's a better pure boxer. I think boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits. My concern is that he won't hurt Canelo. And if he doesn't hurt Canelo and can't hurt Canelo, then Canelo keeps coming. Similar to how he stalked Charlo, how he stalked, once he had Plant hurt, he chased after him. Canelo is a very powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot. But to me, can Crawford hurt him? I would pick Crawford to win if he can box and stay away. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. And if Canelo catches him, it could be trouble. But I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And I'm wondering whether he could stay away. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer.
Crawford's fight with Julius Indongo demonstrated that his path to victory might not be as easy or punishing as some may expect. Early in the fight, Crawford found himself in a challenging situation, but he showcased his true strength as a fighter. His willingness to fight and his drive to win are key factors in his success. Crawford has a chip on his shoulder and the determination to step up when necessary. When the rounds get tight and things become difficult, he rises to the challenge, demonstrating his championship mindset. However, the main issue with a potential fight against Canelo is the weight difference. While some might try to spin it or speculate about personal feelings, the weight disparity remains a significant concern.
let's be honest. When Crawford fought Madrimov, he had his hands full, especially early in the fight. Now, I give props to Crawford because Crawford is the type of fighter where he does have like a chip on his shoulder and a willingness to win. He has drive, and if you tell him step it up, the rounds are too close, you're going to get a dedicated Crawford. So he is a true fighter, a true champion, all that. The biggest gripe I have with the fight is the weight. You guys could try to spin it and say I hate this guy or that guy. I don't really care. What do I look like being a true alpha and being bothered by what people say? I don't care. I'm telling you my opinion, and my opinion is not going to change because I know you guys can't change it. I've said the same thing, and not one time have I heard one of the Bud Buddies offer a solution to the arguments that I've brought up. Crawford is good, but so is Canelo. If they were naturally the same size, which they're not, Crawford is probably maybe a little bit taller, but I'm talking about mass.